Hello everyone, this is the Seeker of Grace. Quite recently, Bridget entered the world of League of Legends. Her reason is that a world known as 2XKO is emerging, featuring the champions of League of Legends, and it is her desire to acquaint herself with these characters. But as she explored this world, she apparently found herself enjoying her time there, suggesting it might be derived from the joy of fighting alongside other comrades. As we watched from a distance, Vega could not help but wonder how it would be like if a single champion had to fight an entire army alone. And a most brilliant idea struck me. And so, I issued Bridget this challenge: to win a battle against 5 opponents alone. And intrigued by the concept, she immediately accepted the challenge. In the name of science, or so she said. But she had one condition. She first explained that she had little to no knowledge of the world of League of Legends, and, as of now, has nothing but a general understanding of the goals of each battle. To grow stronger by killing monsters and opposing champions, and then to penetrate the opposing base's defenses and destroy its core structure, the Nexus. Hence, she stressed that owing to her lack of experience, she be permitted to fight against what she calls bots. When I asked her what a bot was, she explained that it is an opponent who is less skilled at formulating strategies. They were still opponents nonetheless, and by that reasoning, I felt that Bridget's requested handicap was acceptable, although I also suggested 2 optional objectives to make the challenge more interesting: win the battle with 0 deaths, and kill either of the 2 elite monsters, Nashor or Atakan. So, how do you think Bridget, stranger to the Rift, would fare in this challenge? If you're keen to see more of her struggles, well, I certainly am, then please click on the like and subscribe buttons. Now let's proceed to the challenge proper. The challenge begins even before the battle starts, while the 2 opposing factions summon their champions. For the faction opposing Bridget, 5 champions are selected at random, with 1 in each prescribed role to form a balanced team. And to her dismay, the champions chosen to fight Bridget were champions she had never fought against in her limited experience in this world, at least up to the point of this challenge. As for Bridget herself, she has unlocked and committed to only one single persona: the champion Jinx. According to Bridget, Jinx impressed upon her as a late-blooming, momentum-based zoner, one who does not have proper tools to interrupt enemies, requires destroying turrets or killing champions to power up, and has insufficient health to endure an extended fight. This makes her less than ideal for fighting alone, even less so against 5 champions. Bearing these difficulties in mind, Bridget began strategizing. When she was sent into the Rift, Bridget chose to attack her opponents from the middle lane. There were 3 reasons why she made that decision. It was the shortest route to the Nexus, there were more paths of escape, and apparently, according to Bridget, she would only have to fight 1 champion as opposed to 2 in the bottom lane. And true enough, only Kennen was sent to the middle lane to oppose Bridget. How did she know that this would happen? Both champions were evenly matched, taking turns to shoot projectiles at each other. And suddenly, this happened. Kennen made a speedy retreat, leaving Bridget feeling very frustrated. She made a quick mental note of this as the battle continued. While awaiting Kennen's return, killing minions to pass the time, Lilia appeared from the flanks and began attacking Bridget's control ward, a ward she used to protect herself from ambushes. In order to protect this ward from destruction, Bridget fired some projectiles at Lilia in the hopes of repelling her. Surprisingly, she seemed to ignore the fact that Bridget was attacking her and continued attacking the control ward until it was completely destroyed, and she sustained significant damage for it. As I watched this unfold, I questioned her decision, but did not think too much of it. Shortly after this event, Kennen returned to the middle lane, allowing Lilia to excuse herself, and Bridget, exhausted from all that continuous fighting, decided to return to base to rest and purchase equipment. Now, with some decent equipment to strengthen her, Bridget decided to hunt some void grubs, only to find Lilia and Irelia in the midst of hunting them. Deducing that she was currently not strong enough to fight against two champions at once, Bridget immediately retreated and returned to fighting in the middle lane. And then something strange happened. Lilia followed Bridget all the way to a turret, and was even shot by said turret twice. At this point, I was convinced that Lilia was simply absent-minded. Naturally, Bridget seized this opportunity to kill her, drawing first blood. She even managed to kill one void grub when she discovered that Irelia had vacated the hunting grounds. A little further into the battle, and Bridget was now able to snipe Kennen with rockets as he ran away, and Lilia, in her absent-mindedness, ran into a turret once again and to her death. These bots are rather predictable, aren't they? With the passage of time, Bridget grew stronger, but her opponents also grew closer to destroying her base's nexus. For while she was busy fighting Kennen and Lilia in the middle lane, the other opposing champions were free to destroy the turrets in other lanes, completely uninterrupted. In particular, the defenses in the bottom lane had dwindled significantly. With no one else to turn to, the responsibility fell to Bridget to defend her own base. And so, she went to the bottom lane to prevent Rakan and Tristana from advancing any further. This was, however, no easy task, as she now would have to fight against two opposing champions without any assistance. And was it a struggle indeed to have her attention divided between two champions, until Rakan abandoned Tristana, leaving her to fight a powered-up Bridget all alone, and getting killed for it. How these bots make such poor decisions, I cannot understand. The battle raged on, with Bridget alternating between attacking the middle lane and defending the bottom lane, with the bots repeatedly making mistakes, until finally she broke through the middle lane's defenses and destroyed its inhibitor, strengthening her base's minions. In response to that, the bots began gathering around their nexus, likely with the intent to defend it. Noticing their newfound preoccupation, Bridget decided to use this opportunity to destroy the turrets and inhibitors in other lanes. She made an attempt to fight Atakan in the process, but retreated as soon as she realized this battle was a losing one. And it was fortunate she made that decision, for quite coincidentally, she also managed to evade Irelia's ambush in the process. From this experience, Bridget knew that she needed to strengthen herself even further to fight against these elite monsters alone. Fortunately, the gold she obtained from destroying the opposing base's defenses was enough for her to purchase all the equipment she needed to fight these monsters. After her experience with Otacon, Bridget decided it would be easier to challenge Nashor, and it certainly seemed that way until the opposing base's nexus was destroyed by minions, bringing the fight with Nashor to an end before Bridget was able to kill it. And so, Bridget succeeded in completing this challenge. She might have failed the optional objective to kill Nashor, but she did succeed in the Zero Death challenge, in part due to the blunders these bots made. I regret having allowed Bridget this concession, but what's done is done. So, how did you enjoy watching this challenge run? Well, perhaps Bridget is not experienced in fighting in the Rift, and I certainly am not experienced in providing commentary for such battles. But if you enjoyed watching this video and want to see more of such battles, then please click on the like and subscribe buttons. And if you have any advice on how Bridget might make these fights more sensational, or for me to improve in my commentaries of these battles, then perhaps you can consider commenting on it. Thank you for watching, and grace be with you.